I am Dr. Jesse John, Assistant Professor, Department of Anatomy, Jyoti Vidyapeeth Women's University, Jaipur. Today we will discuss anatomy of the heart. Earlier we have discussed some part and now we will continue the next part of the anatomy of the heart. Namaste, Hamisha खुश रहो बिटिया. We have seen the heart is a muscular structure. It is pyramidal in shape and it lies in the middle mediastinum and it is covered by the pericardium and the base is connected by the great blood vessels. And we have seen the anatomical features. There is apex and base, two surfaces and four borders. In this picture we have seen very clearly there are apex and great blood vessels, and we can see here the middle mediastinum and the pericardium. This is seen that is the very surface is formed by the which structure we have seen, and we have studied the border also. Now we have studied the chambers, cardiac septa, right atrium, right ventricle, left atrium, left ventricle, and we have studied thoroughly, and we have studied some difference between the left ventricle and the right ventricle. In a cross section, we have seen some difference between the left ventricle and the right ventricle. Now we will study the structure of the heart. The walls of the heart are composed of three layers: thick layer of the cardiac muscle, the myocardium, and they're covered externally by the epicardium. This is the epicardium in the picture, you can see very clearly, and lined internally by the endocardium, and you can see endocardium also. So epicardium, myocardium, endocardium. The skeleton of the heart consists of fibrous rings that surrounds the atrioventricular, pulmonary, aortic orifices are continuous with the membranous upper part of the ventricular septum. The fibrous ring around the atrioventricular orifices separates the muscular wall of the atria from those of the ventricles. What is the function of the skeleton of the heart? It supports the base of the wall cusps and it will prevent the walls from stretching and becoming incompetent, and it provides attachment for the muscle fibers. You can see the skeleton of the heart here, anterior view. Arterial supply of the heart. The arterial supply of the heart is provided by the right and left coronary arteries, which arise from the ascending aorta immediately above the aortic walls. So you can see here the right coronary artery and left coronary artery. The right coronary artery take a origin from the anterior aortic sinus of the ascending aorta. Then it runs forward between the pulmonary trunk and the right auricle. It descends almost vertically in the atrioventricular groove, and at the inferior border of the heart, it continues posteriorly along the atrioventricular groove to anastomose with the left coronary artery in the posterior interventricular groove. Branches of the right coronary artery. Right conus artery supplies the anterior surface of the pulmonary conus and the upper part of the anterior wall of the right ventricle. The anterior ventricular branches are two or three in number and supply the anterior surface of the right ventricle. The marginal branch is the largest and runs along the lower margin of the costal surface to reach the apex. The posterior ventricular branches are usually two in number and supply the diaphragmatic surface of the right ventricle. The posterior interventricular artery runs towards the apex in the posterior interventricular groove. It gives off branches to the right and left ventricles, including its inferior wall. It supplies branches to the posterior part of the ventricular septum, but not to the apical part, which receives its, supply from the anterior interventricular branch of the left coronary artery. A large septal branch supplies the atrioventricular node. In 10% of the individuals, the posterior interventricular artery is replaced by a branch from the left coronary artery. The atrial branches supply the atrial and anterior and lateral surface of the right atrium. The artery of the Sinuatrial node supplies the node and the right and left atrium. So these are the right coronary artery. Now we'll see the left coronary artery. It will take the origin from the left posterior aortic sinus of the ascending aorta. Then it passes forward between the pulmonary trunk and the left auricle, enters the atrioventricular groove and divides into an anterior interventricular branch and circumflex branch. Now we'll see the branches of the left coronary artery. The anterior interventricular branch runs downward in the anterior interventricular groove to the apex of the heart. In most individuals, it then passes around the apex of the heart to enter the posterior interventricular groove and anastomosis with the terminal branch of the right coronary artery. Ventricular branches supply the right and left ventricles and anterior part of the ventricular septum also. One of these ventricular branches may arise directly from the trunk of the left coronary artery. A small left conus artery supplies the pulmonary conus. The circumflex artery winds around the left margin of the heart in the atrioventricular groove. A left marginal artery is a large branch that supplies the left margin of the left ventricle down to the apex. Anterior ventricular and posterior ventricular branches supply the left ventricle. Atrial branches supply the left atrium. Venous drainage of the heart. The coronary sinus, which lies in the posterior part of the atrioventricular groove, it is a continuation of the great cardiac vein and it opens into the right atrium to the left of the inferior vena cava. And there are tributaries, that is small and middle cardiac venous, and the anterior cardiac veins opens directly in the right atrium and the small veins that opens directly into the heart chambers. So you can see the picture, the venous tennis. Now there are some tuition for the assessment of your knowledge. One is explain chambers of the heart, and you have to explain it in detail. And another is to explain blood supply of the heart, and you explain it very clearly. Thank you so much.